Is the live stream working again? You guys gotta let me know in the comments if this is working or not. I ended the old one, tried starting a new one because everyone was saying they couldn't see anything. Happened as soon as I went in the kitchen, so maybe the kitchen is not a good spot to be. Sweet. All right, we just gotta stay out of the kitchen then. I have no idea why that makes a difference. The kitchen is just the other side of this damn wall. Oh well. So what were we talking about in the last one? Because I honestly have the world's shortest attention span now. I don't have comments to tell me what we're talking about. Holy shit, we have someone from Singapore. I would not have guessed that. I've been watching the like audience analytics. I am shocked by some of the places that watch me. Also, I did the math. I think we have 9.2 female subscribers on this channel. I don't know who the 0.2 is, but we don't discriminate here. Waiting to try to get some people in here since I'm guessing people are waiting to come over from the old one. Somewhere USA. Yeah, Indiana Mobile Diesel coming to you live from the fabulous west side of Indianapolis. If you hear gunshots, don't be surprised. That's how it goes around here. My street's not too bad, but the gas station end of my street gets robbed like once a month. It's great. Just ignore it. Sorry to get people in here. Yeah, I ended up just ending the old live stream, closing the YouTube app, restarting it, coming back. I don't know why I did it as soon as I got in the kitchen, because the kitchen is the other side of the wall to my bedroom. So I didn't think that was going to make a difference walking a few feet through my house, but apparently it does. Yeah, I live on the west side of Indy. I would show you on the map, but I don't have two free hands right now. I should have grabbed rum and cokes while I was out there. Probably electrical interference. I honestly have no idea with this damn house. It wouldn't surprise me. It was built in the 50s and then questionably remodeled a few dozen times. One of the times, though, they added a really big garage, so I'm pretty happy about that. We'll let the other stuff go. What? We just do straight whiskey chugs. It's Friday night, and I'll have to be up in the morning. I just don't know if I want to deal with the heartburn from that. I can show you guys this awesome trick on how to travel with time travel with wild turkey, but I don't know what'll happen afterwards. Oh, yeah. So when I worked at Ford, we had a customer that there was one particular section of road that when he drove down, TPMS light would come on his car every single time. There was RF interference on the road that was on the same frequency as the TPMS sensors. The customer was not happy when we told him there's nothing we could do about that. What's up, Christopher? Sorry, I'm trying to read right now. If I start time traveling with Wild Turkey, I'll get a service call at 3 a.m. I'm not going to answer it at that point. So there's a place in Indy. It's called 8 Second Saloon. I think the last time I had Wild Turkey was at that bar. I remember at like 10:30, one of our friends getting thrown out the door by a bouncer because he tried starting a fight with another friend. Then I remember somebody crashing into the gas station. Then I remember throwing up out of a Jeep and getting yelled at for it, and I was really confused because I was outside of the vehicle. Then I woke up the next morning. Turns out that was like a 7-hour span. People kept giving me free drinks all night. It was Wild Turkey 101 night. I got yelled at for throwing up outside of the Jeep because I didn't have a seatbelt on. We were doing 55 down the interstate, and there was a cop behind us. And apparently it took me like 2 hours to corral me out of the bar. Wild Turkey is amazing stuff. Have a hell of a night. What the hell are we listening to? Oh, just an intro for this song. So what else you guys want to talk about? Throw whatever you want in the comments. We'll get back to it.
I just love the way this outfit plays country rock with roots music. Just like on the cheating song, Gin Smoking Lies from the project Goodbye Normal Street.
Gin Smoking Lies. I was at my mom and dad's house down in southeast Oklahoma, and I sat down on the front porch and I was playing a banjo. And anyway,
yeah, I've been there.
One woman and the rooster in the backyard had 20, and so the whole song's based around that. It's just mostly about birds. Just a song about birds, really. It's just a bluegrass traditional thing. I mean, the ominous, murderous feel, you know.
The fun part was last week when we were in Kentucky twice, I drove by the distillery for Wild Turkey and I never got to stop. And Four Roses. I've also had some fun time on Four Roses.
All those tunes are that way, and it's just it's an interpretation of what guys have been doing for really 100, 200 years. You know, it's just my interpretation of maybe a Doc Watson song or a Doc Watson song. You know.
Trying to think what to talk about. I'm not good at this stuff. I can talk about anything when somebody brings up a topic, but when it's left to me to figure it out, I'm pretty well screwed. To spin you guys around, you can watch some music videos with me here. Do that until we figure out something. Got some Turnpike Troubadours going right now. Yeah, that's where I was working last week. Why did I not just turn back work? Damn it, there we go. Yeah, that's why I worked on that 4104 that got a cylinder head. It's also the trip I took to go work on that Buffalo. Actually, just yesterday I had to pay all my tolls for going across the bridge into Kentucky. I need to get my service trucks back together. So I got the flatbed to go on the 97. I've had the flatbed for over almost 2 months now. I just haven't had the time to get out there and get it put on. And then our big service truck, the 6-liter. Let's get the engine back together on that truck. Excuse me. That one ate a camshaft and lifters. It's fucking hot in here. School bus had a few trips to Lexington. Yeah, we got, as soon as you cross over 65 into Louisville, head east on, was it 64? Something like that. And then head south. That's the route I took. It's like $4.20 a piece every time you cross that damn bridge in or out of the state. 15 international. Um, the next service truck like that, the next big service truck I want to do. Why didn't you tell me you were riding bikes in this area? I got the Harley out. We could have gone for a cruise. I just got the new pipes on. I've been riding it a lot lately since we did the new pipes. I rode it to the parts store today. As long as you need small parts, it works fine. Funny story, I needed an outer wheel bearing, so I adjusted the wheel bearings on the front of the service truck yesterday, the Dodge, and the right front was stupid loose. And tightened it up, adjusted it right, and I figured out why it was stupid loose. It had a damaged roller. Started making noise, so I pulled it out and put a new bearing in it. The race seemed fine. But yesterday I went ahead and ordered all new bearings, races, and rotors for the front of the truck, so I didn't want to put any more money into it than I have to until those get here. But I asked for the front outer wheel bearing for the truck. They came back to me with the carrier bearing race. And then I was the asshole for telling them, no, that's not it. I hate going to the parts store at the end when the commercial managers aren't there. Where's Trails End Saloon? No, I've not been there. Although if you're in Bloomington and you want to go to a fun bar ever, the Cade, it's like a $5 cover charge, and every arcade game you can think of is in there to play, and it's free. They have decent whiskey sours.
Yes, sir. Well done, gentlemen. Now keep it right here, folks. We've got Mr. Robert Earl Keene in the hot seat and up next.
Also, if any of you guys are in the Indiana area, I'm thinking about doing a. Last time I was in India was 25. No, he actually. I haven't heard of that bar. Dad did not say if he tried his White Claw yet. The Cade. Okay, so it's right across the street from the Bluebird. It's a concert venue, literally straight across the street from it. Best part is when that one closes, you can walk out the door, go left, take like 20 steps, then go up a flight of stairs, and then you're at the attic. No, not the attic. Shit. I forgot the name of that place. Another great bar. It's upstairs. Tons of pool tables. Like 20 something of them. Really small bar though. I got hit with a pool stick way too many times that night. But it's fun. But yeah, Dad did not say if he tried the White Claw yet. I'm assuming, knowing him, it's probably all gone. I don't want to watch ads for my music.
You know, 2015's Golden Session, Cody James was what I would call a breakout record for this no-nonsense country western musician from Fort Worth, Texas.
What were we doing in Bloomington anyway?
Session at the Mark in San Marcos. He dipped back into that album to perform loud and heavy. First, let's get his take on the tune.
My son and I were driving down the road. I kept him out of daycare. I was off the road on his second birthday. This has been a couple years back. And we were asking what he wanted to do. He wanted to go to see tractors.
Really depends on what I'm doing, if I want white rum or dark rum.
We jumped in the van and...
If I'm making a drink, dark rum. If you're just trying to straight chug it,
Man, that's some loud thunder.
some white rum.
He's back in his little car seat. He's like, loud thunder, heavy rain. He's voice recorder, and I was like, yeah, you're getting ripped off, little man. So I was like, loud thunder, heavy rain, you know, and then it's in my head, and click. Got back in the van, came home, and I wrote that song in about an hour. To date,
I can't do Fireball anymore. I got really burned out on that stuff.
Which is pretty surprising, considerably more. But yeah, we set my son up. He's got his own publishing account with BMI, and both my kids do. My daughter helped me write a song that's on my new record. So that's how loud and heavy you can be.
No, I've never tried that before. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I saw he was wanting Jake breaks. Bacardi 151 in Tabasco. That sounds great, but I'm gonna probably have really bad heartburn. But yeah, I just saw that I'm gonna get stuck putting Jake breaks on a bus with him in that last couple videos there. Okay, so I was just talking about that the other day. The truck race at Eldora on the dirt. Never been there. Always wanted to go. Next year, I think we're gonna take a company trip there. I'm just gonna buy everyone tickets and we're going. Physical shop. Yeah, I've got over 1,000 square foot garage in my house. It doesn't have high enough ceilings to get semis or buses in, but I do small work out of there. The plan is next year to start, hopefully try to get built a 60 by 100 shop. I've only been in business for myself since March. So, it's still growing, and I'm honestly shocked how quick we are growing. So, at the rate we're going, I really do need to get a bigger place to work on stuff. So I think we're going to build a shop. My favorite place to buy specialty tools, eBay. If I can find the original Snap-on stuff off eBay, that's always what I do. That's where I've got that fuel socket from. It was from there. I know that's where Dad got his injector timing tool. That's where all my pins came from. I'm trying to think what else I have this Detroit specific. I made my liner puller. The compression tester is Harbor Freight, actually. If any of you guys need a compression tester for a two-stroke Detroit, you can get it at Harbor Freight. It's part of their decent compression tester set. I was shocked to find that out. But yeah, I always try to start with eBay. I mean, if not, you can start searching around and find other places to make stuff like that, but a lot of the guys that used to work on this stuff are retired, and most of them don't care to have that stuff around anymore. It's for sale. Either that or they've passed on and their kids are just trying to pawn the stuff off as quick as they can. So that's where I look for a lot of that stuff. Occasionally get lucky at pawn shops too. Just gotta check the right parts of town. I think like half the sockets in my toolbox have random people's names etched in them. That's where I buy most of my tools from. If I can get them used, I do. Especially Snap-on stuff. It has a lifetime warranty anyway, so worst case I break it, I get a new one. The only time I really buy stuff new is when it's actually a new tool, something out that I won't be able to find used, or if I really need it. It's also a great way to try to keep yourself from having tool payments. I mean, I can get a $500 set of sockets off eBay for about 110, 120 bucks. Yeah, exactly. Like my work set of tools is not necessarily nice. A lot of gear wrench, a lot of off-brand tool trucks like Cornwell Blue Power, Matco ADV, Mac Expert for my sockets. But my home box is all nice stuff. It's because I've just accumulated over time off eBay. And I wasn't too worried about building my home box in a hurry. I could always bring tools home from work if I had to. But I ended up just building a nice set that way. That, and if something happens to my set at work, I'm not too worried about it. The other day off Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, we scored Dad. Shallow and deep half-inch drive snap-on sockets. Snap-on set. I think it was $150 with a ratchet. Yeah. Dad is a big fan of Harbor Freight where he can. Although lately he's been starting to upgrade his tools. Now that he's using them more and more every day, he's finally understanding what I've been saying about, you know, you do notice a difference in some nicer tools. I need to get a nice tap and die set. I've had the giant Irwin set in my shopping list on Amazon forever. I just have never been able to justify the cost of the kits to buy them because I have a lot of random tap and dies, but I don't have two nice big complete sets, and that's at some point I'll get them. But it's not very often I need that many tap and dies. I use thread chasers more than anything because most of the time I just need to fix threads. I don't actually need to cut them. If I get a shop, we are definitely going to be getting ourselves like a nice Bridgeport lathe or mill, and then like a Boxford lathe or something like that. I want to make some parts. I'd like to get a nice welding setup up there too. So the bus that I replaced the ignition switch and rebuilt the carb on. Yeah, the bearings failed on that motor. I took the oil filter housing off and dumped it, and just straight glitter. It was terrible. I looked at the availability to rebuild that engine, and they discontinued the pistons and the main bearings for it. So I'm in the market for a 534 cubic inch Ford for that customer, if I can find a good deal on one. Someone sent me one that was in Indiana. I sent the guy a few messages. Never got any messages back from him. They told me I had cash in hand. We'd come get it right now. But budget-wise, it's out of the question to swap something else in there. So we're trying to find another 534 for it. The 72 tooth ratchets from Harbor Freight aren't bad. I just got Dad another one of them the other day. I don't know about CNC. I've done CNC courses before in school. I don't like CNC. I like manual machining. I don't know. It's more fun for me that way. I mean, if I was mass producing stuff, I would obviously want to do CNC. But for the small scale that I'll be doing on it, yeah, I'll probably just put a DRO on an older one and run it that way. I do have a friend who professionally does CNC work for a living. He makes drag wheels. So worst case, I can just bribe him with lots of beer to come program stuff. Oil analysis. Yeah, they are worth it. They are great. I worked for a company for a while that every truck in the fleet, every time we changed the oil, we sent the oil off for oil analysis. I mean, it's great because you pick up so many small things inside of those, and at that point, you have a lot more heads up when you have a failure coming down the line. So, you can figure out when to, pull the truck out of service and when it's time to start fixing something on it. Local salvage yards. Yeah, I have some. As far as ease of use go, I mean, obviously there's LKQ, but LKQ is national. That's kind of the best option, but they're always the most expensive. They have a decent warranty. I usually get good parts from them. So one of my customers right now needs a steering column for a Ford truck. They don't have it. There are some smaller junkyards, but to be honest, around here, most of them are crackheads. I really don't like dealing with them. They're really sketchy. I don't trust them. And they break a lot of stuff taking it apart. At that point, I'll actually go to pick apart or pull apart, walk the yard, and start looking for parts. I've done that before for customers. Because then when I'm taking it apart, I know how it's coming apart. I know someone's not just hacking and tearing at it. And then I don't have to work, pulling out like a hacked up harness or dealing with stripped out bolts or broken off stuff. So I'll do that just to avoid the headache of dealing with it. Yeah, LKQ is really expensive. So the white 04 that I drive has an engine in it from LKQ. Really expensive, but it came with like an amazing warranty. But they used to do a pretty good job of getting stuff. Most hard to find part for a Silverside. Everything. There are so many things for Silverside specific. It's ridiculous. At least with the clutch, as far as I remember, it should be vaguely the same clutch as anything else. It's got the Spicer in it with the 6V. Or, not a 6V, 671. But, like, the front shocks, we had to get those for Dad's bus. One side needed to get rebuilt. And they are lever shocks. So we ended up having to send it to Apple Hydraulics out in New York, and it was actually a non-rebuildable core we sent to them, so then we had to track down a core from Gene Russell, get that sent out there and get it rebuilt, and it's over $500 to get one of those front shocks rebuilt. So that was a pain. We're still going through trying to find rear leaf packs for it. We're going to have a set made because we can't find a decent set that aren't sagged out like ours. Just a bunch of stuff like that. The Silverside doesn't necessarily have the same like crossover of parts that later buses did. I've never actually gone out to junkyards in Putnam County. There is one. I think it is in Putnam County. So it's on US 40, just past 75, and I think 75 is the county line. So if you're going down US 40, go past 75, there's that place on the right there with all the trees and stuff. Just after that, on the right side of the road, there's a small junkyard. They screwed me over bad on an engine. They quoted me $200 for a motor pulled out of a Jeep. I got there, it was a completely different engine, way different mileage, and it was $300. And I was fed up with them, but I said, fine, we're paying for it, we're taking it. I got it back, I got it installed in the Jeep, started it up, and we immediately had tons of issues with oil consumption. It was burning oil and letting it pass the valve guides, or the valve seals. I called them, and I'm like, yeah, you know, this engine is kind of a piece of shit. And, you know, they were throwing a fit, they didn't want to do anything about it. You know, they said it was a good running engine, that they tested it before I got it. It ended up, I pulled the engine out, I put a different one in, and I literally dumped that on their doorstep. Like, they had to walk over it to get in their shop one day. I just got tired of dealing with them on that. Because I had friends that buy a lot of parts from him at his shop. Never had a problem, but they just treated me terribly the entire time on getting that engine. That was the 4.7 that went in my black Grand Cherokee. The first one. I blew up a few motors in that. But yeah, that engine was just terrible from the time I put it in, so I ended up ripping it out because it had ridiculous oil consumption. It was burning almost a quart a week. If someone wants to buy a bus, where's a good place to look? Depends on what kind of bus you want to where's a good place to look. You want something new? You want something old? I mean, really, your best bet's to find someone that knows what they're looking at and have them go with you when you look at buying one. Wait, Mets and Nationals are playing right now? Did I miss the Cubs game? The Cubs played today. 2000 Expedition 5.4 timing chain replacement cost, labor and materials. When I do those, I usually do oil pumps. Usually about $1,200 if people drop them off with me, and I'll have them back to them about 2 days to do them in shop. Sometimes we can go a little higher. It should be a 542 valve. I'd say between like $1,200 and $1,300. MCI MC9. You're just gonna have to look around and try to find one. I mean, when you're looking for something like that, to find a good one, you pretty much need to be willing to travel anywhere in the country to go find it. Dad's first bus came out of San Francisco. Dad's second bus came from North Carolina. We live in central Indiana. All right, I gotta turn a fan on. It is stupid hot in this house. You guys are going to have to deal with some terrible audio. I'm going to make sure the AC's on. AC is on. It's just stupid hot in here. Yeah, the MCI Challengers are awesome. So, I have wanted for, speaking of my Jeep addiction, that was a license plate off one of my Jeeps. Gotta live that Jeep life. Opinions about Indy. I've lived other places. I love Indy. So, we do have every season. So, be prepared for winter, be prepared for summer. The roads are pretty terrible. Always. It's always road construction. They never fix anything, especially in Marion County, which is Indianapolis. But there's everything around here. If you're into motorsports at all, we have just about everything when it comes to racing. You can pretty much do anything you want in this state. They're really unrestrictive about a lot of stuff. As long as you're not in the 2 counties up in northwest Indiana, there's no emissions testing, there's no vehicle inspections here. Taxes aren't too bad. If you like I ride my motorcycle a lot, so downtown Indy at about 10 o'clock any weeknight, just it's done. There's nobody out there. You can go ride your motorcycle around downtown all night and never see a soul. Yeah, I love it here. I said I've left here. I lived up in the Chicago area for a while, and I came back. So you guys can tell I like Indiana. Any FSJs? What? We're going to have to dumb this stuff down for me. The later the night and the more I drink, the less I understand what you guys are saying. You don't even have to have that here most of the time. My S10 was a death trap, and I drove that thing everywhere. I cut that truck in half and welded it back together because we bent the frame because I sent it flying through the air. Are you talking about the differences between the MCIs? There's a bunch of stuff that's different on them. We were actually talking the other night. We want to go downtown and just ride bird scooters around all night. Those things haul. So we were thinking the next week or so here, just take one of our cars downtown, park it in the parking garage, and then just go rip scooters around the city all night. Just stay away from the canal at night. It's a great place to get stabbed if you're not careful. Depends on what part of the canal you're out in, too. Oh, yeah, if you do move to Indy, there are a few... Oh, full-size Jeeps. I love full-size Jeeps. Wagoneers, Grand Wagoneers, Cherokee Chiefs. Those are some of my favorites. I don't have the budget for those. I more have a $500 XJ and a cheap lift kit budget. That's usually what I do. Or blown-up WJs. I tend to stay away from ZJs. There's no real reason. I'm just not a fan of them. Okay, so the Corvette I used to have was a Cam 400, short tube headers and straight piped out the rear. No wipers. Those actually didn't even have seat belts. Had race seats in it though, but no seat belts. No one cared. Anthony's Mustang is pretty much headers and pipes out the back, no exhaust. No one cares. The truck I drive every day, it's got 5% tint on the side windows, 2.5 on the back, and it's about to have a tinted windshield. They just don't care. That all depends on what you want the MCI to look like. I mean, if you're going to do a conversion, any of them will work. Pick the bus that has the look you want, though. Yeah, they are 2-stroke. I think it's the MC7. You can get a 12V71. I think it's a 7. You have to double check on that one. That'd be always fun. I do like 12V71s. Nothing like a Buzz and Dozen. But yeah, I've always wanted like a blacked out MCI, polish all the side up to a mirror finish. It's a good looking bus. It'd be stupid hot though. Like, I feel like rooftop airs would have a hard time keeping that thing cool on a hot day in the sun. I'm not good with MCI ears. I do more GM stuff than I do MCI when it comes to buses. But, I mean, if you want to do a conversion, doesn't matter what bus it is, find the bus that you like the looks of first. And then you can build your conversion from there, or if it's already converted, go with the conversion it has. Like, I love the styling of a scenic cruiser, as we can tell. Scenic cruisers are my thing, but it's hard to find a good one. I would love to have an 88 Buick Grand National. Although, I don't know. I'd feel bad if I modified it. But I don't think I could leave it alone. What year did they stop? 87? Was 87 last year on those? I don't know. Oh, there might be a video this weekend too of going in a bus tomorrow. Not for me, but one of my buddies is picking up a Bluebird Schoolie. Hang on, my phone's blowing up with stuff. What? People need to listen in the videos before they leave comments. Okay. Ow. But yeah, if we go get that Bluebird tomorrow, it's a gas big block Schoolie. I don't know if I'm gonna get dragged along for that trip or not. But no matter what, tomorrow we got that Duramax field filter conversion I gotta go do. Because I need to get that truck back in service so I can take the Power Stroke out of service to do trans work. What else you guys want to talk about? Start throwing stuff in the comments. Questions, topics. It really doesn't matter to me. Whatever I want it to be. Mostly just following along as I go do work, but I mean, I do a lot of random other projects outside of that. Like I said, we've got 3 Jeep projects going right now. 2 of them are 4-wheel drive conversions on 2-wheel drive Jeeps. One of them is a manual trans conversion. I have to go around dually with a 6V71. That would be fun to do. We got those projects going right now, though. We have 4L60 that I'm about to tear into and do a bunch of valve body modifications. We've got a Mustang build we're doing right now in a drag car. I'm getting ready to start a build on another drag car. Okay. But yeah, it's a mix between just the work that we do and the projects we have going on. The live streams are a lot of off-topic stuff, though. He's done an entire lap of the U.S. in his bus. Left Indy, headed north, went along the border, came down the entire west coast, up through Texas, and then back up to Indiana. He's done down to Florida. Other than going up into the far northeast, he's pretty much covered the entire country at some point with that bus. And that's only had it for a few years. I did like the 3.8 turbo cars, but I'm also a big fan of the supercharged 3.8s. I've always wanted to take one of the was it Eaton? Is it M119? the Eaton Supercharger that came on the 3.8. If I just wanted to put one of those on a Camaro, like an 4th gen Camaro with a 3.8, I thought it'd be fun to supercharge one of those. Pretty pointless though, but fun. Crown Vics are pretty bulletproof. I mean, the 4R70s have their issues, but for the most part, the Panther platform's a really reliable car. You can beat the hell out of them and they go forever. Also, fun fact, they sell lift kits for them. I think they're more made to fit large rims, but I've always wanted to lift one of those, put it on 31s, and just go try to wheel it. Nope, my mom has never drove any of the buses. Dad's trying to get her to, and I can pretty well guarantee the second it happens, there'll be a video of it. Wait, what? Mechanical injection pump. Are we going back to 6.5 stuff? I'm lost. Ooh. 4.3 Chevys. I've beat the hell out of 4.3s. My last mud truck was an S10 with a 4.3 in it. And I had an eBay tack on the dash because it was a manual and didn't come with the tack. And I had the shift light set at 5. And we went through the entire first motor with that. And I used to thought it just had worn out valve springs because it was valve floating a lot. Turns out after I laid the number 6 rod bearing halves over themselves, I put a photo tack on there and realized that 6,000 RPM on that motor was actually 7,500. Or 5,000 RPM on that motor was 6,500 or some shit like that. We were way over revving that thing for years. Mom actually loves being out on the bus now, which I'm surprised. I never would have guessed that. What do you mean dual fuel feeder on a Duramax? Kind of like dual CP3 setup? I don't know about dual mechanical injection conversions on a Duramax, but I do know that there's a company out there that makes a modified P-pump that fits Fords. Depends. Is the 4104 able to be salvaged? I mean, if it can be fixed, fix it. You know, they're never going to make another one, and we lose more and more every day. So if it can be fixed, I like to try to fix them. Yes, add a lift pump to a Duramax. I don't know why the hell Chevy didn't do that from the factory. It's a pain in the ass if they don't have them. I've worked on 2 different ones in the last week that have had fueling issues from the fuel filter housing and prime problems. Yeah, no, 4.3s can rip. They can really make some power. There was a guy around here who had a pulling truck with one in it that was over 500 horse naturally aspirated. It's like 12.5 to 1 compression. I wanted to buy that motor forever and put it in my mud truck, but I couldn't justify the price he was asking for it because it worked fine in the state it was in. Insurance on it. Usually it's just regular RV insurance. As long as it's titled as an RV, then there's no problems registering them. There's no problems getting them insured. I want to say Dad has historic plates on his, which is even cheaper in Indiana. Yeah, I saw that they make pulleys for them. So we do have E85 very readily available around here, but there are also a few local gas stations to me that have 110 octane on the pump. But Ignite Race Fuels is also not very far away from me, so I can get a pretty good price on like Ignite E90 and stuff like that. What kind of Jeep did you put a 4.3 in? I'm actually supposed to be picking up a camshaft, or not a camshaft, crankshaft, in the not so distant future here to build another Jeep stroker motor. So we're going to build another, depending on how big I bore it, between 4.5 and 4.7 liter inline six stroker. The last one of those we built was just over 300 horse and almost 400 foot-pounds of torque, and that was a pretty mild build. Yeah, that's all a 4.3 is. If I had to pick between the two, 2020 Titan with a 5 liter Cummins in it. My local dealership has an all blacked out one that is lifted on 35s that I've wanted for a while. I know the, what is it, IS? What is the new 5 liter? ISQ? I know they've got problems, but I still wouldn't mind having one. Tundras aren't bad. I have one half-ton truck. I really don't need another one. They like to break down the intake manifold gaskets and leak coolant into the valley, and then you have coolant mixing with oil. It's not just that they did it out of warranty; they still do it to this day. It's not a very good design. So you pulled a 4.0 out of a TJ to put a 4.3 in it. I mean, the 4.3 is a great motor, but I like 4.0s. I probably would have left the 4.0 in it. Although, I'd like to see it. It'd be a cool conversion. I'd definitely stop and stare at it for a while. Yeah, 35. I don't think I'd do 35s on a Tundra. So we gotta pick up a 302 in it. That actually sounds kind of fun. Are you talking about the 4.3s that they just discontinued a few years ago? Yeah, those things actually made some power. I was kind of hoping that when they came out with the new LT series of GM engines, they were going to carry a 4.3 over into a direct injected platform, but it doesn't look like they're going to. I have no idea about the Dodge Slant 6s, but actually the other day I just saw on YouTube that they put the Power Nation episodes on building a Slant 6 on there, and I kind of want to build a Slant 6 now. I don't know what I'd get with one, though. Although, wait. Okay, so you guys know what a Dodge Diplomat is? Gaskets were faulty. Dream car set. AMCs are awesome. But still, I think my dream car is going to be a 71 Monty. But you guys know what the Dodge Diplomat is, right? 4-door economy car. You get a Slant 6 in it and stuff like that. It was sold in Mexico as a Dodge Magna. You get it with a 2-door. I don't know the logistics of trying to import one of those, but I kind of want to go grab one. Yeah, so you can get it as a 2-door in Mexico as a Diplomat. Also, the Dodge Durango was sold as a 2-door in Mexico as a Gen 2 Ramcharger. I want one of those, too. But those aren't more than 25 years old, so I don't even know how the hell I'd go about importing one. I have a weird thing with odd Mopars. Yeah, Diplomats were used as cop cars. I feel like if there was one of those in your town, you could pretty well safely outrun it on foot. Well, maybe not, because I think they still do 318s, but you could definitely outrun a Slant 6 one on foot. But yeah, I want to go pick up one of the 2-door ones. That'd be fun. I just feel like logistically flying down to Mexico, buying a car, and then attempting to drive it back over the border and register it in the United States sounds like a terrible idea. It sounds like a great way for me to get questioned. Hey, thanks for joining the live stream tonight. Like I said, we're going to try to sit and do these every Friday night. Why are people messaging me? Holy crap, I have a ton of notifications on my phone. But yeah, thanks Q for stopping in. I'm probably going to run the live stream for a little bit longer. Ray usually heads over about 11:30, so about the time he shows up, I'll probably have to get going because we're going to go do stuff. So what else do you guys want to talk about while we got time here? Yeah, I was just doing some research. I guess some of those came from the factory with forged cranks and can make some real power. I mean, I know Comp has off-the-shelf cams for them. Offenhauser does 4-barrel intakes. I know some of the Australians can make some stupid power off those things with the way they build them. Because what the Valiant Charger in Australia, I think, was a slant 6 Hemi. Could be wrong there. Don't know a whole lot about the Australian Mopar stuff. Still like to build one though. Yes. Well, so you don't actually need licensing here. I'm professionally trained. I went to school for it. I've worked professionally in dealerships. I'm factory certified. I am licensed and insured by the state. I mean, we are a full business in every way, and I am professionally trained in this. How did I acquire knowledge? I have a lot of time on my hands, and cars and stuff are just what I enjoy. That's what I do. William, I'm not sure what you're asking there, buddy. How hard would it be to get an original 351 Cleveland like a 72 model? Good night, Gary. Are you just wanting like a bone stock 351 Cleveland? Because we can find those all the time. I mean, they're not as easy to find as a Windsor, but they're not hard to find. The tricky one to find is parts for 351 modifieds. Those are a pain in the ass to build. 12 out. Do you mean a 12 valve Cummins or a 24 valve? I've worked a lot on both of them. So 24 valve trucks are going to be VP or common rail. 12 valves will be VE pumped or P pumped. So ideally you're going to want a P pump truck. So 12 valves came with P pumps. I have done P pump swaps on 24s. Really though, when it comes down to it, if you're going to make power with the truck, you're going to be forcing air in there as quick as you possibly can with a turbo. 12 valve is fine. So it just all depends on what you can find a good deal on it. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference. Either setup with a P pump, you can make a ton of power. I've seen stock 12 valves with head studs. We had a truck that we literally took one head bolt at a time, studded it with stock head gasket, and it made over 600 horsepower to the tires, no problem. And it went like that for years. And that was just off of single charger and a lot of fuel. What are the hump heads you're talking about? Like a 351 modified, or I'm not sure what you're talking about there. It happens to my phone all the time. My screen gets covered in everything and nothing wants to type right. On top of that, I spell everything wrong, so my autocorrects are terrible. So let me charge my phone right now. So we're only at 57%. So what else you guys got? Also, with all the live streams here, once we're done on YouTube, they're gonna go to private videos. They're not gonna show up in my history. Yes, I've seen Cletus's Diesel Galaxy. I'm a huge fan of that thing. Um, last time I checked, though, it still doesn't have shocks on the rear, which I'm still kind of sketched out by. That and the wheel wobble is terrible. Did you guys watch his newest video, though, where he blew a car up with a open bottle of nitrous through a garden hose as an intake? That's pretty impressive. We've actually met Cletus a few times in Indianapolis for streetcar takeovers. Back in the early days of Leroy, before it was even supercharged. I was at the burnout contest, a few feet from the car when it threw the tires off in 5th gear. Yeah, that Mustang is hilarious. Would it make like 100 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque with a full shot of nitrous, bottle wide open at like 1200 RPM? They were sucking all the air through a 5/8 garden hose. They had the intake restricted down to it. It was awesome. I think naturally aspirated, no nitrous assist. It made like 9 horsepower wide open going through that hose. Which they were surprised it runs. If you look at how small the idle air control valve hole is, it's, you know, at idle, you're not taking much air at all. But once you go to open the throttle, then you run into problems. But like they were saying in the video too, that rubber intake hose on that was really hurting them too. If they would have had an aluminum intake pipe on the car, then they wouldn't have seen as much restriction on the top end, so it'd be a more effective test against the hose. Oh, I don't know if you guys follow Street Speed, but I'm looking at my YouTube suggestions. Apparently the Grandpa Vet's finally back. I think he's getting out to the track. Also, if you guys are into weird project cars, if you've never checked out Bad Obsession Motorsports, they have a car called Project Binky. You guys have a lot of time to kill. Check out their videos. It's an Austin Mini, so old school British Mini Cooper. I gotta sit up, my back is killing me. Nope, he did not sell that Corvette. It has been sitting at LMR forever. But yeah, Project Binky, if you guys have never checked it out, Bad Obsession Motorsports. They took an Austin Mini and a Toyota Celica GT4, which is the all-wheel drive turbo Celica. The Mini is on the full Celica drivetrain. Awesome project. It's getting really close to being done. I've been following it for 4 or 5 years now. You guys can catch up now and get caught up pretty quickly. You don't have to wait forever. 4.3 in my boat. Yeah, I actually just worked on a 4.3 in a boat a few weeks ago at Chris's shop. We do boats. The only thing is our insurance won't let us work on them if they're on the water. Yeah, on the water. I can work on them out of water, but I can't work on anything that's like outdrive or like hull sealing work. I can only do like in-hull work on engines. There's a lot of weird stipulations from my insurance company because they ask too many questions. Wait, airbag light comes on at startup and then goes out when inside warms up. What does it take time? Like the interior has to get to a certain temperature? Because if so, that's weird. If anything, I would expect the hotter it gets, the worse it gets, because heat increases resistance. You have to see what's triggering the code, though. What code is causing that light to go? I've not had one do that before. What is it on? And are you in the Indianapolis area? Because now I'm curious and want to figure it out. No, I can swim just fine. I think they're more afraid that I'm going to sink a damn boat. Alright, this playlist is getting really random now. No, for that one. Yeah, no, my insurance, probably 2.5 hours of sitting with my insurance broker when I got insurance for the shop, of them asking a lot of really specific questions. So I'm guessing other shops they've insured over time have done these stupid things. No code 2000 Tahoe. Cold morning startup. How cold? Talking below freezing here? Below freezing, this could make a little bit of sense, but above freezing, my idea is out the window. And when you say warm up, can it do it just sitting there static, or do you have to drive it down the road like we could have a harness that once it shakes the harness makes a connection? Actually, surprisingly, I thought my insurance was going to cost me what it costs a month for this. Because even if you're a mobile tech, you have full garage keepers insurance, same as having a shop. And it's not bad. Mine's just over $2,000 a year for 2 full-time employees. Part-time isn't going to raise it. When I add another full-time guy, it's going to go up another like $300 a year, I think. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that. I mean, the commercial truck insurance on my service truck is almost worse than the business's insurance. If I could have any car, what would it be? Now, okay, so we went through this earlier in the stream. 1971 Chevy Monte Carlo. If you ever seen the movie The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, the car at the beginning of the movie, it is in primer. Gutted interior with bead-rolled aluminum panels. It's got a 632 cubic inch Bill Mitchell big block Chevy. Richmond T10 4-speed Moser 12-bolt Willwood brakes. The only thing is that car was on year 1 coils with jack screws. I'd probably do a coilover setup, but just that. I want just a stupid mean muscle car. Over 500 cubic inch big blocks I've always liked. That one's over 600. It's even better. But it's not just about going fast in a straight line. That car can take a turn. That car can stop. It was on some like 15 by 10s with some Goodyear slicks. Like, that'd be a perfect car. Or C6 Z06. I'm a big fan of the LS7. High revving, naturally aspirated LSs are cool. But the Monte is my dream build. Are you talking about the Monte Carlo that, why am I spacing on his name here? Mike Musto used to own? I think it was a white one. Because I saw that one. That's kind of sad they never got that car back. Maybe it wasn't white. Yeah. Yeah, I'm friends with Mike Musto on Facebook. I knew him back from the early days when he used to be on Car Domain. I used to be big in car forums. And that was like back when he was building Project Angrier. I used to talk with him on the forums all the time. Fall and winter into yeah, okay, so if it's that there could be moisture that if you have literally like water frozen inside of the connector, once you get it over the the freezing point, that could be causing your problem. But you would need to find that first and verify it, and then obviously you're going to need to address why there's moisture there. I don't know what the air ducting on a regular 3208 Wonder Lodge looks like, but the more fresh and cold air you can duct to it, the better. I mean, it's only going to be able to pull so much air in. You'd have to figure out how many cubic feet per minute of air the engine can consume, and then calculate your ducting to be greater than that number. It takes some math, but it depends on how big the actual air ducting going to it is. If it's a restriction, then yes, obviously you want to go more. You want the limit to literally be that the engine cannot physically pull enough air that your intake can provide. And you want to get the coolest, densest charge possible to it. Most standard air cleaners, if you look at the size of the hole on them, is actually pretty under for what the engine is capable of pulling. So, yeah, I mean, that's some things to think about those. So just got a regular air cleaner off the motor, no ducting to it. It's just inside the engine compartment. So no matter what, you're going to probably pick up power just by ducting air from the front of the bus that isn't soaking up all that hot ambient air under the hood. I mean, hot air doesn't make power. It's going to get plenty hot as it goes. You want to try to keep it as cool as possible. So what else you guys got? I didn't even think about that. I can see that I'm live on YouTube when I go to my home screen. It's probably a terrible idea, but let's try this. Holy shit, it works. Oh, holy shit, this is delayed. Okay, so I just pulled my live stream up on the TV in front of me. You guys are like a good 30 seconds behind. No wonder it takes me forever to go through the comments. Yeah, the Gas Wonder Lodge just had a giant oil bath air cleaner sitting on top of the carburetor. So the fuel enrichment on the Detroit's by the injector size, we already actually did most of our enrichment. We went up from an N65 to an N70 injector. So we're going to advance the timing when we do the turbo swap. We haven't nailed down what turbo we're going to do yet. I need to sit and do some math. Wait, thanks for reading what? But yeah, you control the enrichment by the physical injector size. When you work on a diesel, fuel enrichment isn't as critical as it is with the gas engine. So like with a gas engine, we need to carefully. No, I'm trying to convince him that it needs an S480. I don't know if he's up for an S480, but it also might look at like a whole set, like an HX35 or an HX40, because I can get those dirt cheap. But I need to sit and do the math to figure out what turbo is going to work the best as far as impeller, how like the impeller size, the AAR ratio on it, and all that stuff. Because if we're going to do all that work through the turbo swap, I want to make sure we have the right turbo for what we're trying to do. But with the mechanical diesel, yeah, there really isn't enrichment. You just up the injector sizes. Right, yeah, right now it's a four valve head, non-turbo, with N70 injectors on standard timing, which is a really weird combination. Timing's getting advanced when we pull the gear train housing off and swap the cam over. I don't think we're going to do it before then, but we might. The trans has to come out to do that, and that's the reason we haven't done it yet. Jakes are going to be another interesting addition to that. But once we do the turbo setup, it should be a pretty mean setup in that bus. I do have to see about some possible changes to the cooling system too, because that's my concern. When we start adding power, we're going to start having overheating issues. I know we already have a 5-core radiator in it, but I was also thinking about trying to convince him to do. What's up, Dooley? Water methanol injection on the bus. What, the delay on it? Oh, yeah. Like I said, I just tried loading it to see how far back you guys are from me, but it's probably 30-second delay between when I say something and when it comes across. Dooley, you get the tires put on your van yet? Yeah, some of the comments are really water methanol injection. Okay, so it's used a lot with performance gas stuff, especially when you can't run like 85. If you're stuck running pump gas on a high compression like turbo gas engine, you're going to run water methanol injection. So you're going to put a nozzle and it's going to spray a mix of water and methanol into the intake. So methanol is combustible, and the water in it's going to help bring down the intake air temp charge. Because you're worried about detonation on a gas engine, but what do you mean you put the old setup now? You lost me, Dooley. Air scoop and better ducting might help. Yeah, that is an option. Possibly an electric pusher fan. I've also seen things before put water sprayers across the radiator to try to drop temperature on them. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I mean, we're not going to go crazy with the power here. I mean, this isn't going to be like a 400 horsepower marine application. But you got to watch the power that you're creating in one of those, because your cooling system is not very efficient in a bus when your radiator's mounted sideways and you're pulling air at a 90-degree angle from flow. I would totally be up for adding a radiator. I mean, we already have coolant lines running 3/4 of the way to the front of the bus to the old heater core housings. I don't think the heater cores are in there, but I guess if you cut the heater core box from the bottom, I have some new ideas now. Oh yeah, no, it's no problem at all to find turbos. I mean, I live... Spare tire well in his bus is completely filled up with wood blocks and jacks and stuff like that. He doesn't even have a spare on there. All right, let me go back and read some of these comments because they all just came through at once. Yeah, turbos are dirt cheap to find around here. Actually, we live 15 minutes from Fleece, from my house. I actually went right by them today when I went into town to go get lunch with somebody. Okay, I'm back to the comments. We're good. Dooley, when are you coming out to the new house? I've lived here for like a year and you haven't been over yet. All right, let me know when. We'll do something. Maybe I'll get the lowering kit ready and we can put the lowering kit on the Ram next week when you come over. Get some free labor on it. I've never tried that, but I've always wanted to. I think it'd work. We should do that with your van. I'm in. Oh, it makes it even easier. What transmission do they use? Are we going to try to use like the 4T60 out of yours, or are we going to use like a 4T80 out of a Cadillac? All right, so here's the biggest question, though. Is your wife going to let us, like, 5.3 swap your van? Because I feel like that's going to be the biggest hurdle. Oh, okay, yeah, 4L65s. Not 4L, 4T65. But yeah, they're nothing. I think I might have been saying L the whole time. No, it is a Pontiac Montana SV6. So it'll be a front-wheel drive 5.3. I think I can do some awesome burnouts. You should check it out. Well, Holly doesn't know won't hurt. Yeah, she's not going to notice your van's going to be gone for a week straight and come back a lot louder. Why don't we just take the 5.3 out of her Suburban, put it in your van, then we put your V6 in her Suburban. She doesn't need all that. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the setup in PJ's van, though, he's got a pretty crazy car audio setup done in his... You had it at Samology, didn't you? Yeah, also, you can pick up my 18-inch sub and get it out of my way. Let's go get it, though. And then it'll be in my way. Then you can take it up and get it out of my way. You get the point? Oh, actually, wait. We should go to Parabellum. I've got some new stuff for you to play with. Bring safety glasses and earplugs. We'll try to head over there. I haven't tried taking... You ordered a 390 amp alternator. How? How much did that cost? And does it mount in the stock location, or are we gonna have to use like a bracket to put it? I have a lot of questions on how the hell this works. Holy shit, that's expensive. Could we have not just put like 4 stock ones somewhere? Just put more batteries in it? Jesus. Gotten 50D inch cheaper than that. Oh. Also, bring it over to install it, because I want to see how that works. Doe, also, PJ, can you still get that Sky High wire that I've got in my toolbox? Because I'm going to want some more of that at some point. Do you have the bracket coming with it? Night, Stan. Have a good one. Okay. Let me know when it gets here. I'll install it. Shit. Alright, it's 11:30. I'm gonna have to get going here soon because I've got stuff I gotta go do. So, I'm gonna be taking off. See you guys later.